It was that bad. So I was babysitting for this family the night before one of my finals a few weeks ago, and that was okay because I was just gonna put them to bed early, like around 8, and then study. So they live about a mile away from me and I don't have a car, so I just walked there. So the first thing that happened was the little boy, who I will call Josh, had to brush his teeth because it was his bedtime. I was like, okay Josh, it's time to brush your teeth. It was like impressive how instantaneously tears just fell out of his face. And I don't know how to deal with that. I thought it would be good if I leaned in and while he's like, tears are streaming down his face, and say like, hey Josh, tickle fight? And, which just made him start screaming. And I was like, okay, I've done enough damage, and I walked out of the room. I went and got his older sister and I was like, can you please make him brush your teeth? Because this is how much of a people pleaser I am that I can't make a 3-year-old brush his teeth against his will. So I had to get his sister to do it for me, which is like, what kind of parent am I gonna be if I can't do this when I'm being paid to do this? So finally she gets him to brush his teeth, and okay, everything's fine. They go to bed, and so I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna study. So I get out my study guide and I'm sitting on the couch, and their dog, which is like a big young black lab, comes up to me and is really needy and needs me to pet her, which is fine, like whatever, I'm petting her and trying to study. The dog goes insane. Like the dog starts racing around the entire house and barking. So I'm thinking, okay, A, you really have to pee, or B, there is a burglar who will most definitely kill me and these children. So I let the dog out into the little enclosed patio, which had a brick wall around it. So I was like, okay, if there's a burglar, they're not gonna kill me. And the dog walks out really calmly after freaking out for like 10 minutes. The dog walks out really calmly, sits down, and sits down like this and turns its head and just stares at me, not breaking eye contact for 15 seconds. And I was so transfixed that I didn't do anything. I just held the door and I was just staring at the dog. So anyway, I was like, okay, you don't have to pee. There's no burglar. You're just crazy. I let the dog back in, and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do, because the dog instantly started like running around again and barking, and the kids sleep with their doors open, so the kids are obviously awake. There are no doors in this house. I can't keep the dog in an area, so I had to make barricades out of kitchen chairs, and the dog's obviously trying to like break through these, and I don't know what to do. So I'm like, okay, I can calm this dog down. I'm soothing, I can be soothing. So I take the dog over to the couch forcibly, drag the dog, and start petting her like really calmly and just humming like and it's working, and the dog's calming down. And then, okay, I don't know how to explain this. It was so, okay, I'm stroking the dog and the dog is looking down, and the dog looks up at me completely like serene, eyes half closed. Her eyes widen, and she literally, I don't know how this is physically possible, she jumped 2 feet in the air, knocking me back on the couch, and I had a heart attack. And she starts zipping around the house even faster, like in cartoons where dogs like, I don't know what to do. And she breaks down a barricade. The only like plausible explanation is that there's someone outside or something. Like, why is the dog flipping out? So I re-barricade the dog, and I go out into the backyard with my phone flashlight, and I walk down the steps down this hill, and it's covered in ivy, and it's like a really windy night, and it's pitch black, and there's like rustling in the ivy, and I'm like, okay, that's just like a rat or something. And I'm like freaking out, and there's no one there, or they were hiding, but I like ignored every horror movie type lesson. That I ran back inside and closed the door and locked it, and at this point I'm like, okay, you know what, screw it, I just texted the mom and I was like, I'm really sorry, I know you're at your party, but the dog is freaking me out. Has she been fed? I don't know what's going on. And the mom was just like, there are treats above the washing machine, period. So I'm like, okay, lady, like, I don't think you understand what's been going on. So I go and get treats and start like, and I have to continuously feed the dog treats or she keeps going crazy. So I literally gave her 2 whole bags of treats within 2 hours. Okay, I sat there giving the dog treats for 2 hours, and whenever I like stopped for a minute, she would start running around, so I had to keep doing it. And it got to the point where I was emotionally so exhausted and angry. I just was like whimpering along with the dog because the dog was whimpering at me and I was whimpering at the dog. Finally, the mom comes home, she walks in the door and she goes, "Oh, we can't give you a ride home. Is that a problem?" Woman! They're supposed to drive me home. It's like 11:30. I can't stick up for myself. So I was like, yeah, that's no problem. I can walk home. And she was like, oh, okay. And I started packing my things and I'm like, Greer, don't do this. You're better than this. You're gonna be angry the whole walk home. Just call your dad. So I called my dad and woke him up and he was angry and I was angry and he had to come and pick me up and take me home and she underpaid me. So yeah, that was my babysitting horror story. Let me know if you have any job horror stories in the comments below and I'll see you next time. Bye!